Hello, welcome to Grammar and Writing Lesson 3. Let's get started with vocabulary. Don't forget to take notes. If you don't have your notebook, your grammar pages, and a pencil, go and get those now. Our first word today is human. Human. Now, this is when human is used as an adjective, not as a noun. Okay, as noun, we know that human, that's a person. But as an adjective, it's a characteristic of man. For example, to make a mistake is only human. So you're describing the mistake. The mistake is a human mistake. What kind of mistake? A human mistake. So it's used as an adjective to describe a characteristic of man. By man, I mean humans, other humans, humankind, people, just basic people in general. This is very similar to this word. This word, though, is pronounced humane. Humane. So the first word is human, the second word is humane, also an adjective describing something. It means kind or compassionate. So notice very different meanings, kind or compassionate. Removing the thorn from the dog's paw was the humane thing to do. So it's the right, the kind, loving, compassionate thing to do. Make sure that you have these written down in your notebook before you move on. If you need to pause the video, go ahead and do that. For your vocabulary, please fill in the blank with human or humane. Number 1. The blank body requires sleep, food, water, and exercise. Write down human or humane for the blank. Number 2. We should give blank treatment to animals as well as to people. The blank mind is a fascinating creation of God. All right, let's check out the answers. Number 1, the human body requires sleep, food, water, and exercise. We use human because you're describing a characteristic of a person's body. Number 2, we should give humane treatment to animals as well as to people. Compassionate treatment, kind treatment to animals as well as people. And number 3, the human mind is a fascinating creation of God. Again, this is a characteristic of human beings, so you want to use human mind, an adjective describing the characteristic of a person, and so we use human. Okay, very good. Today we're talking about sentences. We go back to sentences in grammar. Complete sentences. Remember what a sentence is? It's a word that expresses a complete thought. Has both a subject and a predicate, starts with a capital letter and ends with a period, question mark, or exclamation point. The large end of an egg contains an air sac. So here you have a complete thought. It has both the subject and the predicate. If I were to divide it, here I have end is my subject, contains is my simple predicate. I divide them right here between the complete subject and the complete predicate. The unhatched chick can breathe from the air sac. Can breathe is your action. What can breathe? And the chick can breathe. And there's where you would divide it between your complete subject and complete predicate. In a normal egg, the chick's head points towards the large end of the egg. Points is your action. What points? The head points. All of the stuff in the beginning goes with the subject. All of the stuff in the end goes with the predicate. Please hold the chick carefully. What's your subject for this? There is not one written because it's imperative. Hold is your verb, so your subject is understood you. You hold the chick. Let's talk about fragments. Remember, it's very important that your sentence contains a complete thought. If it does not, it is a fragment. A fragment does not express a complete thought. It's missing something. Lacks a subject, a predicate, or sometimes even both. Returned to normal breathing. Well, who or what returned to normal breathing? We're missing our subject. A temporary loss of breath. Well, what does that do? You don't have an action to go with that, so you're missing your predicate. Using the ing form of the verb without a helping verb or the to form of the verb also creates a fragment. The to form of the verb is your infinitive. You use that a lot in Spanish. In English, if you use that to form to be your verb, to be your action, your main verb, that actually cannot be your main verb, so it makes it a fragment. Let's look at some examples. The runner catching his breath. Here you've used the ing form of the verb, but gasp. There's no helping verb in front, so that makes it, instead of being a complete sentence, it makes it a fragment. All right, how about the next one? 3 friends to run a marathon. Here we've used our infinitive to run, but we can't use the infinitive as our main verb. It would be 3 friends are running a marathon, 3 friends run a marathon, but it can't be the infinitive to run. To correct fragments, it's very simple. Add the part that's missing. Add your subject and or verbs. Returned to normal breathing. Well, we're missing who returned to normal breathing, so we'll add that. The athlete returned to normal breathing. A temporary loss of breath. A temporary loss of breath is uncomfortable. We were missing what a temporary loss of breath does, and now we have it. The runner catching his breath. The runner is catching his breath. We've added that helping verb. Now we have run-ons. Ooh, run-ons. Everyone loves those, right? So run-ons are 2 or more complete thoughts written as one sentence without the proper punctuation or connecting words. So it's basically when you jam together more than one sentence, more than one complete thought incorrectly, which is very easy to do in writing, I know, but it's something that you have to really watch out for as you're writing. It's really easy to do, but you have to keep power of that from your writing. Let's look at this one. Second wind is the name given to the return of normal breathing. This occurs after a temporary loss of breath. Whew. That's a lot to read, right? Because it doesn't have any punctuation. It's a run-on because you have more than one sentence smashed together. There's no punctuation to separate your ideas. Look at this one. The runner's heart will beat faster. The nervous system will adjust to the higher speed. Well, here you have a comma separating your ideas, but that's not strong enough to separate 2 whole sentences. So it's still a run-on. That's not the proper way to separate 2 sentences. So your problem here is that you don't have a connecting word. If you use a comma, you need to use a connecting word, such as and, but, or, nor, for, or yet. All right, let's do some practice. Tell whether each expression is a fragment, run-on, or complete sentence. The life of Henry Hudson is obscure. Historians agree that he was an Englishman by birth. Write down whether this is a fragment, run-on, or complete sentence. His voyage in the half moon. This is a fragment, run-on, or complete sentence. If you need to pause the video for a second before we go on, don't be afraid to do that. Number 3. In 1609, Henry Hudson explored New York Bay and the Hudson River. Fragment, run-on, or complete sentence. Number 4. The engagement ring is worn on the 4th finger. Ancient people believe that a vein runs directly from that finger to the heart. Fragment, run-on, or complete sentence. The bride in the long white dress. Fragment, run-on, or complete sentence. All right, let's check your answers. Number 1 is a run-on because there are two sentences that are stuck together. The life of Henry Hudson is obscure. That's one sentence. Historians agree that he was an Englishman by birth. That's the next sentence. Number 2 is a fragment because his voyage in the half moon, it doesn't tell us anything else. Like, what about his voyage in the half moon? What did it do? There's no verb to this, just the subject voyage. Number 3, in 1609, Henry Hudson explored New York Bay and the Hudson River. That one's a complete sentence. Number 4, the engagement ring sentence is a run-on. After fourth finger, that's the first sentence. Then ancient people believed that the vein running directly from that finger to the heart is the next one. And number 5 is a fragment. Once again, we have no verb. All right, your homework is to complete more practice, pages 14 through 15. Make sure you're following your homework packet to make sure you're doing the right pages on the right days. Make sure you're also reading through the lesson pages that I give you. Just double check. A lot of the examples in the PowerPoint are the same as the ones that are on those pages. Make sure you're following along with that so that you get a full, complete understanding of your lesson. Okay, everyone. Love you so much. Bye. Okay, for writing today, we're talking about using a topic sentence. This is extremely, extremely important in your writing. If you don't have a topic sentence in your paragraph will be very weak and it won't have a good direction. So you need topic sentences. Your topic sentence states the main idea of a paragraph. It catches the audience's interest. It's what makes them want to continue reading your paragraph. Improvements for boring topic sentences. Include an unusual statistic or other fact. So something like, there are 20 different species of geckos in the world. Something like that. Now that's obviously not a true fact, but it's just something. Ask a question. Did you know blah, 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 blah. And that gives an interesting fact. People want to know more. Address the audience. Something along the lines of, you may think that. Now that would be something that's a little more informal. You wouldn't use it as much in your academic writing, but it is something you can do. Set a scene. That means like tell a story, give a little bit of a background on something. Here's an example. Dull topic sentence. That means boring. I was born on March 17th. Do you want to keep reading? Probably not. Improved sentence. On the day I was born, there were parades in the streets. It was March 17th, St. Patrick's Day. Now I know half of you are thinking, no, still don't want to read it. But it doesn't matter. Most people, they would be more intrigued having to read it to figure out, oh my, well, what else happened on that day? Something like that. It gives a little more detail, a little more information. It's a little bit more interesting. Your homework for today is using the topic sentence, page 70 from your homework packet. So make sure you have that page and use that for your homework. If you have any questions, just let me know. Have a wonderful day, guys. Love you so much.